Hi everyone, and welcome to the Red Brick House. Today is an exciting video because I have been wanting to do this project for probably the last 6 months or so. And I finally got all my materials together and supplies, and I'm going to make a beautiful Kawandi throw. I'm so excited about it if you can't tell. And so I'm going to call this a Kawandi inspired project because it's not going to be authentic. I don't have the authentic fabrics and things, but I'm going to call it Kawandi by the technique that I'm going to try to use. And I'm going to try to do it to the best of my ability to keep it somewhat traditional, but it won't be in any means a actual traditional Kawandi. And so with that, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with the supplies that I have for this project. First, I have just some pieces of fabric that I have cut out to use. Some of these were already cut because they were like a charm pack. And then some others I've just cut from different projects, kind of fabric I've been collecting. And so I just have some different shapes, different patterns, but I liked the colors of all of these. And so that's what I'm using for my patchwork. And then I am using this, what's it called? This is Egyptian cotton, 100%, and it is crochet thread. And I'm using this because what I learned when I was kind of researching how to do this project was that you needed a strong thread. So one person had said if you were going to use embroidery floss, to use all 6 strands of it, don't separate it. And so I thought this might be a good thing to use. And then I'm using a needle. I don't know what this needle's called exactly. I think it's a tapestry needle. I purchased this along with some other like bigger darning needles. It was kind of in a set of some different needles. It is quite sharp on the end, so it's not a blunt. It is sharp. And the eye is not terribly big. It's almost the same size as the needle. But I wanted a long needle because I wanted to be able to get as many stitches as possible at a time on the needle. So that's what I'm using there. And then I have my fabric here. And this is the back. This is what I'm going to use for the back. I think it's gorgeous. And I've already cut it, and to get the measurement for this, all I did was I took a throw blanket that I already had that I liked the size of, and I just used that as my pattern. So I just laid this fabric out and I laid the blanket on top of it, and then I just cut it to that size. And then I did the same thing with the lining. Now this lining is just an old sheet that we've had that the elastic kind of wore out in the fitted sheet. So this I took from the flat sheet, and I just did the same thing. I cut it to that size. So this will go in the middle. I don't want batting. I want this to be a thin, really drapey throw. And then these, aren't these pretty? They're so bright and shiny. These I'm gonna use at the ends on the corners. I think they call it fula. I may be pronouncing it wrong, so please forgive me. But what I've seen people do is that you fold it like this, and then you fold it again, so you have a square, and then you sew this corner into the corner of your throw, kind of like this. And I think that's so cute. So I did it like that. I'm going to do it like that. And then these edges, this is some kind of acrylic, I'm sure. It's kind of like what they make ribbons out of, it feels like, but not quite as thick. And this was just leftover fabric I had from some other project. But I didn't want it to fray, and while I was cutting it out, it was fraying, so I didn't want to have to hem it. So what I did, because it's this, acrylic kind of material, I just used a lighter, and I went and I melted the edges just really quick with the lighter, kind of like you would do with like a ribbon so that it won't fray. That's what I did on here. And so that's for that. I think that's about all I need. I think that's about it. So I'm going to get started here. So I'm going to lay this out, and then I'm going to start putting the patchwork on. I'm going to do 1 row of the patchwork all the way around. So in a Kawandi, you want to work like this and you want to put your pieces in like a square form. And mine will be a rectangle, but it will go, the patches will go on just like that. And then I'll turn and go this way, and then this way and this way, and putting my little things here on the ends. And then I'm going to flip them over, and then I'll put in the middle part, this part here. I'll put this in place, and then I'll just start adding more patches on there. So this is going to be a fun project. I'm probably going to film this video in probably 2 parts, like the beginning part and starting the Kawandi, and then the end where I'm finishing it up, because it would be a really long video if I did the whole process in one video. And you wouldn't see that video for maybe like a month or 2 from now, because this will take me a while to do this. So now I have my fabric opened up, and I have the back side of it facing me, and we want to have a smooth edge. So I'm going to fold this under. You could iron this if you wanted to, but I'm going to fold this under, and I'm just going to press it with my finger about a 1/2 inch seam allowance there. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this fabric here. I'm just going to fold, make a seam there. This piece is a little bit small to start with, I think, but oh, I need to fold it in over here too. Okay, so I have that part. Then I'm gonna need to fold it in over here because it's going on the edge. So I need to fold that side in too. Okay, so now I have this corner here, like this. And then I'm going to place, this is kind of fiddly to start out with, but we're going to do it. It'll be okay. I'm going to place that right up there. You can pin it if you want to. And I may pin some of them. So there's my corner piece right there. Now this edge right here, this edge is the selvage edge of this fabric, so I'm not going to worry about folding that over. But if it was frayed on the edge, I probably would, because I don't want frayed edges on here. And now, because I want to put the little fula in the corner here, I'm not going to start directly in this corner. I'm going to hide my knot in here, but I'm going to start about right here. I have quite a bit of thread on here because I wanted to try to get the whole length of this throw before I have to change my thread out. So this might take me a minute to pull all this thread through here. Okay. Now then, I'm going to bring it up close so you can see better. So I've put my thread back behind here. Here's my knot, and I have these 2 corners together. And then I'm just going to start a running stitch right on the edge of these 2 pieces here. So here we go. This is the beginning. And when you work in this way, you know, your first go around will be the longest part. As you go, it'll get smaller. It'll get smaller and smaller. Okay. So I know some people do it really nice where they do, you know, a big stitch on this side and a little stitch on that side, but I'm not that skilled. So I'm just doing my own running stitch. However it comes out, that's how it comes out. I'm going to try to do them kind of even. Let's see if we can go through all of it at once. I'm going to go slow to start out here. Of course, I do feel like this is kind of a slow stitch project. It will be for me, because I really want to enjoy this process. Okay, I don't want to pucker it too much here. And so there we go. That's the start, and that's how it looks on the back. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go across here and do some more. And I like this because you can just, you know, sit on the sofa or in a chair. You could sit outside. You could do this anywhere. As long as you have your patchwork with you and you have your needle and your thread, that's really all you need. You don't need a hoop or anything like that. There we go. So I'll probably stay on camera here until I get to the next patch, and I'll show you how I'm going to attach that. So I'll do one more stitch here. I have not used this kind of thread in this way before. So it does really want to curl up on you though. Probably because I have so much. Maybe it'll get easier as I go. Okay, so now I'm going to stop there because I want to add another piece of fabric. So let me reposition this here. You can't see her, but I have a furry friend on the table with me, joining me, as always. She is my little princess, and she likes to be wherever I am all the time. I'll see if I can show you her. You can see her laying here with me. Let's see. There she is. She's laying on my bag of fabric. Hey. Hey. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm sleeping. That's what I'm doing. Leave me alone. I just want to sleep. Okay. She's really sweet though, because she doesn't bother anything really that I'm working on. She's a good cat. Okay. So here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold this over and I'm just going to press it with my fingers. And you could prep all this and do it with an iron if you wanted to. But I'm not doing that right now. What I might do is I might, when I go off camera, I may go and press all of this down. Because that would be helpful to have at least one side, you know, staying where you want it to. So, oh, I need to fold that too. This is kind of like when I did my handbag. It's very similar. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there and that on there. Just like that. So now I'm just going to tack this down. So I'm going right into it, and it's really, that part's really thick. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see me. Okay. So I'm going to just tack that fabric down in the corner right there. You can see that. And then I'm just going to keep going with my running stitch. I'm just going to go all the way across here. Uh-oh. How did I do that? Man, see? Just mistakes just happen that way. So I'm going to fix that because that's going to bug me. You see what I did? I don't know how I did that. Well, I mean, I know how I did that, but anyway. Okay. So I have fixed that little mistake by just making a little knot right here. It really doesn't look the prettiest, but I just tied it in a knot right here at the back. If you can see that. And we're just going to continue on, you know. People make mistakes. That's what happens. It's a part of making things handmade, especially when you're talking. At least for me, I have a hard time concentrating while I'm talking. Okay, I'm going to try to thread my needle here And we're back in business, and we're just going to keep going. And we're going to pretend like it didn't happen. Okay, so back to this. Here's my little pieces of thread here. So now I'm just going to keep going, sewing along here. And that's all I'm going to do until I get to the end. Oh, I'm going to have a knot there. Oh well. First mistake made, and I'll probably make more, so it's okay. I meant to hide that knot and I didn't. Actually, that's the second mistake made. But that's all right. We're going to keep going. And when I get to the end of the row, I will show you how I'm going to attach the little tassel kind of thing. Whoops. There we have it. So there's the beginning. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of my row. Here's my corner right here. And I'll just show you a little bit here if you can see. Here's some of the patches that I used. And so this is kind of what it looks like right now. And let's go back here to the end. Now I've come to the end of the first row. So I have my corner here. So I need a corner piece to go right here. And what I'm gonna do is that I have this little fabric right here. I've finger pressed it on this side right here. And then I'm gonna finger press it over here just as if I was gonna attach it right here, which I'm going to. But then I can kind of line it up. So I have the edge of my fabric here, and then I have this right here. So I'm gonna line that up. And what you want to do is to line up these edges. So if you have a bigger piece that you need to cut to fit the space, I just line it up with this edge right here. So those are raw edges right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in. We're going to fold this edge over just like that. And then we'll need to fold over our other edge of our corner piece here. So now I have a little piece like this. And so that's what it's going to look like on the back side. And we're going to place that on top of this corner. I'm going to line it up at the corner to right there. Can you see that? That little piece is sticking out, and I'm going to pull that down. There we go. Okay, I think this might be a little bit fiddly, but I'll show you how I'm going to do the corner. So first I'm going to tack this down, and I'm just going straight through because it's quite thick. There we go. Then we're going to come back. I'm not going to make the same mistake I made the last time. And okay, then we're going to go across till I get to this corner. Then I'll show you how I'm going to attach the little fula or fuli, I'm not sure how you say it. So I'll pull that through, and then now I'm going to take this piece, the square piece, I'm going to fold it in half like this. And then I'm going to fold it in half again, making sure to line my edges up as nice as I can. And I have a little square. Okay, now I'm going to take this little point here, and that's what's going to go in this corner right here. So I'm going to slip that in there the best I can and patch it or hold it tight right there. Nobody move. And I'm just going to go straight to the back here. And there we go. And then I'm just going to come back right beside that stitch right there. And I'm going to come back through up here. And I'm going to do it one more time. Maybe up a little bit, about like right there. Go through again. I'm going to come back down over that little thread right there. So hopefully it won't look too bad. Yep, there we go. That's kind of where I wanted it. I wanted it to just kind of be a little line right here that you could see. And there we go. I don't think that's going anywhere. Now I'm going to take these two pieces and hold them together, and I'm going to go this way. You know what? I'm going to change my mind. Because I'm kind of far down here, if I start making running stitch, it's going to be way down here unless I want it to be crooked. So I'm going to go one more time into this. And I'm going to come back up right here. Try not to stab my finger. Okay, it's a lot to go through. A lot of material to go through there. Now, I want it about like right there. Now, you might be able to make this look a little prettier than I did, but it works. And so now, I'm going to go back this way. You know what? I might even come back. I'm not going to worry too much because I have another idea. I think I'm going to come back and I may embroider some little, I don't know, some little stitches across here in a decorative way. That might be what I do to kind of cover those stitches up. And then I don't have to worry about how they look right now. So then we'll just be turning and going in this direction. So see, just like that. And then we'll just keep going and we'll just keep adding more fabric as we go. So I'll zoom back out so you can see. Isn't that cute? I love that. I think that's adorable. Okay, so now we'll just turn it this way and then we'll just keep adding fabric going along the edge here. Okay, you guys, I've made it all the way around and I am about to finish this last corner. And this is where we started at. And I wanted to come on here and show you how I'm going to finish this up. Because it is a little bit tricky, especially since I didn't do my other corners this particular way because this was a selvage edge, so I wasn't worried about it fraying. And so now I have this folded under and it's tacked down and this here, so it's might make it tricky to attach this, but I'm planning to just nestle it down inside there. And right here, this last piece that I put in here, I needed to fold it over like I have been on this edge, but I also need to fold over this edge because we have a raw edge here and then a raw edge here. And so I need to fold it like that and kind of put it all together so I have nice clean edges. So this one's folded in, this one's folded in right here, and then if this was a raw edge, it would be folded in as well. So this area is a little bit tricky to finish off this corner. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch this down. I'm really excited that I got this much completed already. I worked on this all afternoon. Well, not all afternoon, but you know, like an hour or two yesterday when I filmed it, and then now today is the next day. But I only got about halfway around because my fingers started to hurt pretty bad. Because this is a lot of fabric to go through on this first round, because, you know, you're folding over the edges, so you have, you have quite a bit of fabric to go through. The rest of the blanket, I don't think will be that difficult, because you're just sewing through single layers here most of the time. Okay, so I'm going to do one more pretty close together here, so I can kind of space them. I want to have room to put my last little doodad in here. I am loving these so much. I think they're so cute. So fold it in half like that. Then we're going to fold it in again. I've been trying really hard to match up these. See how that's kind of off? So I'm going to fix that. I've been really trying to get those precise. It could be that my square is not precise. Or it could be that my, when I melted the edges with the lighter, some of them kind of curled up. So I'm just doing the best I can. That looks really good, I think, like that. So I'm going to take this corner and I'm just going to slide it in there. And I'm going to hold it tight. Try not to poke myself, which it might happen. And there we go. And tack that down. Come back through the back. Let's see. I want to go a little lower. About right there. Because I can see it under my thread here, and I really kind of want to tack it down here. I'm not too worried about these corners because I'm going to come back, like I said earlier, and embroider over them. Just do some kind of little something right there. Now this last one, I'm just going to come back up through here. And that will kind of finish off this first go around. I'm even going to go ahead and tie it off, I think, in the back. Because I want to put in my lining now. So I've made, after the first round, then I'm going to put in my lining, and then I'll just be ready to stitch and stitch. And kind of a spiral. It's not going to be circular, so it's really kind of not a spiral. But that is the goal. And I realized that earlier, oh no, don't knot up on me now. I realized earlier when I was talking about the Kawandi in the introduction, I was so excited I didn't really tell you what it was. A Kawandi is a quilt made in India, and it is a technique where you work from the outside in and you place your patches as you go. Okay, well, there we go. Yay! Okay. Now I'm going to set my needle aside because we won't need it for a moment. And then let's take a look at it. It looks a little different than my other ones, but I don't really think it's going to be that noticeable because my other ones will be like, they're right here. And because I already tacked that down, I couldn't really place it there. So, but I think it'll be okay. Like that. So I think that's really cute. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like. So I'm going to lay this down and I'm going to fold these open as much as I can. This corner is a little tacked down, so I'll kind of just have to push the lining up in there. Okay, so let's do that next. Okay, so I have the blanket, or the Kawandi, spread out on top of my bed. And then these are the patches that we just worked right here. And what I did is I just kind of flopped them over like that, and I just kind of tucked them under a little bit so they're just not in the way so much. And I'm going to lay my lining on top. And I'm just going to start at the bottom here. And I'm just going to put the lining up against where these are. And I think I'm going to pin it in the corners. And I think I'm going to use those quilting pins like these. I think I'm going to use these little quilting pins that are curved like that. And I'm just going to pin them in the corner. Move you down so you can see. So right here, because I need to go underneath this little patch of fabric here, I'm just going to kind of put it in there the best I can. I'm sure it will be kind of fiddly, but I think it will be okay. I don't think it's going to be too terribly hard to get that lined up. This one's a little bit harder because these sheets were rounded. they don't come to a point. And that's what I'm using here is just an old sheet. So I'm not going to pin it to that, or I might actually. Okay, I think I'll just pin it behind it. So I think I'm going to go just right here and pin that there. That way it'll kind of hold it in together. And I'm going to do the same thing to all the other corners. Okay, then the next thing that you're going to do is that after you have your lining in place, you're just going to fold these over like this. And then this is where we ended. That was my last corner. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue to stitch around. And when I need to add new fabric, I will add new fabric. So we had it like this, like that. And then I'm going to come up about right there. And then I'm just going to keep stitching just right across here. Oh, and this is much easier to stitch through. I kind of thought it would be. I'll just go across this blue right here. And that's all there is to it. I'm just going to continue to go across and keep sewing and keep sewing. And then when I get closer to the middle, I will come back and make another video. So this will be part 1. Then when I get closer to the middle, then that will be part 2. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this process. Like I said, this is my first time doing it, so I'm not an expert and I'm not trying to really give a tutorial. I'm just trying to show how I'm going to do it. And I'm so glad to have you here watching me today and joining me with this. Let me know if you've made one of these before and how it turned out. I would love to hear about it. Well, that one is quite thick. So, yeah. There we go. So, like and subscribe if you'd like to, guys. I have more videos coming out with different kinds of projects, more gardening videos, more sewing, more stitching. I'm going to get back to knitting soon. So, I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Happy crafting.